Good evening, everyone. We called our meeting to order during our closed session so we can begin our meeting. I just wanted to start by saying this is, I know, our last meeting of the summer. This is the last week of summer, so I hope all our families and staff have had a great summer so far. And for those who have vacation for this last week, enjoy your last week of summer. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone next week for the first day of school. And now I will actually turn it over to Mr. Toscano really quickly to do a motion.
Thank you, Madam President. We're going to have a motion to go out of order from what appears on the agenda in order to address a personnel issue, specifically the change in start date for Manelli Mercado, Walter. So first we'll need just a motion to go out of order, and then we'll have the actual motion itself. So we'll need a first and second to go out of order. It could be a voice vote, all in favor, and then we'll take the personnel item. So
can I have a motion to go out of order? Liz and Shweta, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
And now, Madam President, Dr. Adderhold, do you want to speak?
Good evening, everyone. It's my great pleasure to make the recommendation for our next assistant principal at Grover Middle School. Tonight, I'm pleased to recommend Manelli Mercado Walter as the next assistant principal at Grover Middle School with a start date of September 1st. Ms. Mercado Walter comes to us after serving 8 years in the New York City Department of Education, specifically a middle school assistant principal at Leonardo da Vinci Intermediate, School 61, where she served there as the last 8 years. And due to a family relocation, we're pleased that she moves over to New Jersey, and we were fortunate to have a vacancy to acquire her services. Prior to serving as an assistant principal, she served as a peer instructional coach, as well as served as a special educator. She'll be a wonderful addition to Grover Middle School, and we look forward to her joining our staff. So with that.
Thank you, Dr. Adderhold. So can I have a motion to approve the administration's recommendation? Loy and Pooja? Questions or comments? Okay. Chris?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Bonsall.
Yes.
And next we'll go to Ms. Cheniera.
Yes.
Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Ms. Krug.
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Ms. Shetty.
Yes.
Ms. Zovich.
Yes.
Ms. McEwen.
Yes.
Juliana.
Yes. Congratulations. All right, thank you. And we'll go now to our presentation for this evening, the 2023-2024 curriculum review. We'll turn it over to Dr. Barbara Gould.
Good evening, members of the board and community. Thank you. Tonight I have the pleasure of being able to present the Curriculum and Instruction Annual Report. My name is Dr. Barbara Gould, and I'm the Chief Academic Officer. But we always like to start and talk about our district's mission statement. As a district, we pride ourselves in living our mission in service of students. And a significant part of our mission statement is the ability to empower all learners to thoughtfully contribute to a diverse and changing world. And when we talk about all learners, yes, we are talking about our students, but in addition to our students, our teachers and our administrators, our supervisors, and our staff are also lifelong learners that are often in the pursuit of being able to contribute to the diverse and changing world, just like our students. Although our district provides ongoing professional development throughout the school year, during the summer there are extensive opportunities for instructional growth, especially in support of our strategic goals, which are centered around personalized learning, global citizenship, social emotional learning, and equity. It would take me all evening to highlight every single possible professional development experience afforded to our staff over the summer. But instead, I would like to take this time to thank the supervisor team, our teacher resource specialists, our teacher leaders, and administrators for planning and facilitating many, if not most, of these professional development sessions. I had the privilege of attending some of the sessions, and I can say with confidence that our teachers walked away with tangible strategies and resources that could be implemented and utilized in the classroom. The sessions are engaging, they're interactive, and they're directly related to our curricular initiatives that are prioritized by the district. Here are additional professional development topics. There are different ones for different grade level bands, and there is a variety depending on different content areas. And more. One of the highlights of our professional learning in the summer is our annual administrative retreat, in which our district administrators participate in a week-long professional learning retreat. The retreat is led and facilitated by members of our team, and it's usually centered around a theme. This year's theme, From Belonging to Connection, demonstrates the district's commitment to ensuring that all stakeholders feel a sense of belonging in our school community. There were many moments that were positive and highly successful, but one of the most powerful experiences that we had as an administrative team was facilitated by our assistant superintendent for personnel, Charity Camella, who invited superintendents and administrators from New Jersey, throughout the state of New Jersey, to talk with us as a team about strategies that they utilize in their own district for not only recruitment, but also retention of diverse teaching candidates. Another highly successful professional development experience in which our teachers participated in was around one of our strategic goals for SEL, and this was responsive classroom professional development. During these sessions, teachers have the experience of participating in a best practice research program that really supports the social and emotional learning of our students and helps teachers foster a positive classroom community. Our equity goal was also an area of focus for us this summer through professional development. One of the sessions that was held was a 2.5-day learning experience in which teachers learned about, practice, and applied the 4 pillars of educational equity as defined by Learning for Justice. They focused on instructional practices, building classroom cultures, teacher leadership and looking within, and family and community engagement. Our world language and English language learner professional development was led by our supervisor team along with teacher leaders, and offered opportunities for teachers and staff members to continue to grow their instructional strategies around how to best support our students, our English learning students through professional development. And our world language team took a look at all of the different proficiency rubrics that they utilize and made adaptations through a collaborative process. Full day kindergarten. This is a highlight for us as a district. As we move from half-day kindergarten into full day, there were numerous opportunities for teachers to attend professional development, which focused on this transition for us as a district. We are fully committed and really excited to welcome our kindergarten students and our families. Tours started this past week and a little bit last week as well, and teams are really thrilled to meet our 2036 graduates. Another highlight of the summer is our new teacher orientation and induction process. Yesterday, we welcomed new staff members to WWP. This is always an exciting time for us as a district. The buzz in the room and the excitement of new teachers, whether they are teachers coming from experience from other areas or brand new to the classroom, the feeling is overwhelmingly positive. positive. And we thank our Chief Equity Officer, Sue Tutero, and our Supervisor of Curriculum and Instruction, Mark Wise, for putting together such an engaging, inspirational, and interactive 4-day professional development experience that really focuses on our district's vision for student learning and for supporting the whole child. Our students did some learning too. So here you can see 2 of our math courses that were offered over the summer for students, data science and discrete math. As you can see, these were taught by WWP teachers through community education. Students described the courses as fun and learned a variety of skills while working in collaborative groups to solve problems, apply concepts, and create different experiences together. The kids really look like they're having a great time in those pictures. Another highlight of the summer was our English language learner camp, which was a camp that supports students in kindergarten through 5th grade and their families, as we welcomed thank you to our Dr. Ashley Warren and Carl Cooper, supervisors of world language, ELL, and DLI, for putting together such a positive experience for our students. The camp included guest speakers, project-based learning experiences, and lots of enjoyable activities that help students to continue to build and foster their connections. And we're not done. Not only did we have tons of professional development over the summer, we're also busy as a curriculum and instruction team, creating and writing and revising our curricular documents. Here highlighted are some of our new curricular documents. Some were big revisions that really, like Math 6, for example, was a complete rewrite of previous Math 6 course. It realigned the scope and sequence, took a look at what was happening for students in 5th grade and in 7th grade, and aligned the concepts horizontally so that students would have even stronger experience in math. Another example was Music Technology 2. In this course, students understand the creation of recorded music. They are able to work on things such as songwriting, producing, engineering, mixing, mastering, and publishing usable works. Our DLI Spanish Literacy and Culture, both Spanish and Chinese courses are also new. These courses help to support students as they focus on literacy development and the target language. And students examine texts and look at different cultural experiences across multiple themes. And another one to highlight is our Language Arts 9th grade curriculum, and this curriculum was revised to support our multi-level classes. It's organized thematically, and students will develop their reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills through really deep literary analysis. The first unit, as an example, has students examining the concept of what it means to be successful and how our values around success are shaped by a number of different factors, and then reading different literary tools to be able to do that. All of our curricular documents include some of the components listed here. They begin with a summary and a rationale. They also include a recommended pacing guide. They're aligned to our New Jersey student learning standards. They also incorporate companion or interdisciplinary standards as appropriate. And in addition to the components that are required, we also have started to include other components that help us to really define what we believe about curriculum and instruction. For example, here you can see in all of our math curricular documents, we include a math equity statement as well as our core beliefs about mathematical practices and instruction. And then some of the curricular documents also include narrative storyboards, and this is a way for students to be able to visualize the key concepts that are happening throughout the year, and it provides students and families with a year at a glance for where we will start as learners and what our goals are throughout the year. Not only do we have new curricular documents, we also have a number of revised curricular projects as well. Here are some of our curricular projects. It's a very lengthy list. I will not read all of the titles, but they are here for you. So how do teachers find out about all of the different changes that happen over the summer, specifically to the different curricular documents? So there are a number of ways that the supervisor team, along with administration, helps to support this work. We do that through our department meetings, grade level meetings, faculty meetings, as well as teachers are able to meet during common planning time to also discuss changes. In addition, some of our supervisors send out a monthly newsletter, as seen here, which provides updates, gives teachers links to resources, and really highlights the areas of focus for each of our curriculum. So as illustrated throughout this presentation, our supervisor, administrators, teachers, and staff are highly dedicated to lifelong learning in support of our students. I think sometimes there's this myth that everyone is off over the summer, but for curriculum and instruction, it's the busiest time because this is when, we are really building up our collective instructional toolboxes, writing and revising curricular documents, and proudly preparing to serve our students. With that said, I'd like to thank the board for supporting all of these efforts, our supervisor team and admin team for leading the way, our teacher leaders for being models to their colleagues, and our dedicated staff. Your hard work is seen and valued. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gold. Are there any questions from board members? Dana?
Thank you, Dr. Gould, for your presentation and all the hard work that I know happens all year round, but especially in the summer. I just had a couple questions. I wasn't familiar with a few things. One was maybe you could remind me and others, what is sheltered English instruction? That's one question. The next is algebra and trigonometry. I wasn't sure where that was in the sequence of math. And then the 11th and 12th grade elective PE was something I need to learn more about. So thank you.
Sure. So going to your first question, which was, can you repeat the first one?
Sheltered English. Yeah.
Sheltered English instruction is a way in which we support our teachers in providing best practice strategies for supporting the students that are learning English, are multilingual learners. So our teachers, our general education teachers, need strategies for how do they differentiate, how do they adjust their resources and materials, how do they adjust their instructional practices to meet the needs of our students. So that type of professional development provides them with those types of strategies. And it's often done, sometimes we have external presenters, but we actually have some pretty strong teachers in district that are able to provide that for their colleagues. And then the other two were algebra
And trig, where that falls in the math sequence?
Junior year, Andrea, yes?
So,
Oh, sorry to make you have to stand.
okay, algebra trig is for really targeted students that take out from 1 and 9th grade. And when they get to their 11th and 12th grade year, they really don't necessarily want to pursue pre-calc and calc. They may be going in a different direction, but they also don't want to close the door. So it's enough math to get them so that they can take a college level pre-calc course when they're ready, or they don't have to take a college level pre-calc course, so it'll really get them ready for just the basic college math and move on. So that's pretty much started. We've had it in the program of studies all along. We just updated it because of new standards.
And the last one was not PE, right?
Yes, the health and PE elective is to support some of our students who are going in and supporting our MD students in PE, so they can take that as an elective for credit to be able to appear within in that class and also count towards their PE requirement.
Thank you. Louisa?
Yeah, two things. First, can you give us a sense of how many students participated in data science and discrete math? And secondly, there were a lot of curriculum that were revised. Was there anything in particular driving the large number of revisions this year?
That's a really good question. Our supervisors took on a lot of projects. No, there was not really a reason. They're just passionate about that work, and so they, proposed the different curricular experiences that they wanted to revise. We also have a cycle that we work through. We will be taking a look at the cycle moving forward to maybe narrow down some of the curricular topics that we are revising each year. But in this particular year, they were just proposed by supervisors, areas that teachers, saw that there may be a need to revise, whether it be assessments or realign different scope and sequence. They're always reflecting and thinking about, that process. So that's primarily the reason why that happened.
Could I add to that?
Sure.
I know you have another question, but in addition to that, you do have standard updates that occur?
Yeah.
So that, we know right now that the Department of Education has been planning to bring forward the revision to the K-12 language arts literacy standards. It was supposed to potentially be in front of the State Board in June. That's been postponed. I would imagine we're not going to see that till after the November election, potentially as late as January. But that's supposed to be implemented for September of next year, based on the current sequence. That could get changed by the department, but that will require our teams to do all of our language arts literacy curriculum documents next year. Even if we've just worked on them, there'll be more work to do. There'll be some in mathematics. Also, sometimes when you have new leadership changes, and we've had several supervisors change in the last couple of years, there's new eyes, fresh eyes, standard revisions. We've been very fortunate to bring in veteran leaders to many of our departments. And the department has not been shy, meaning the Department of Ed, with doing updates like health and PE and whatnot. So as we're in we go through a one-year implementation, then there's a revision and a reflection component to make sure we're updating and getting the feedback then from those that have implemented in year one and to finalize the documents. So it's a very active process with a tremendous amount of work being done by our departments, our supervisors.
If I had to think about theme, looking at all of the documents, it was a lot of scope and sequence adjustments, taking a look at units and changing where they were ordered or adjusting the ways in which the curriculum was experienced by students.
Louisa, do you?
The other question was some sense of how many kids took the data science and discrete math?
Close to 200. Close. Discrete math and that was
210.
Yeah, see? 200. I said 200. I was close. 210.
Thank you. Liz?
I was just curious, how many kids do we have registered for the full-day kindergarten? You might have mentioned it, but I don't. Approximately, perhaps?
That number is still very actively. We just had open registration the other night, and we had upwards of 70 families show up. That's all grade levels, so it's all being processed in live time. We have not seen the bounce that we might have anticipated by moving to full day to the same extent. We are up at Town Center right now, down from over last year, down at Dutch Neck. But I would just caution that things are very fluid in WWP in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the summer and the first 2 to 3 weeks of the school year. Tremendous mobility and move-ins during that window of time. We'll have a better ability to answer that question, I would say, by the September board meeting to give you the board a better sense.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. Gould. All right, that now leads us to the first opportunity for public comments. The board invites thoughts and reactions on agenda items and items of concern from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 60 minutes. Do we have any public comments? Yes.
I'm Drew Fridelli. I'm running for Mercer County Sheriff. I have a question about the social emotional learning piece, and I'm pretty sure that social emotional learning is like a minimum standard. I'm wondering if assertiveness training is added onto that so that you can teach people how to be assertive to protect their own rights. As a sheriff, my objective is to protect your constitutional rights. Everybody on the board has sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution. As a sheriff, I will be swearing the same oath. So my job is going to be to protect your constitutional rights, constitutional rights of the parents, all the children. So if you want to check me out, I'm on drewformercer.com.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, I will close the first opportunity for public comments. I'll now turn over to our Board of Ed committee reports, Administration Facilities Committee. Dina?
Good evening, everyone. The Administration and Facilities Committee met on August 23rd. The committee reviewed the following policies and regulations, which are recommended for first reading at tonight's meeting. That's Policy 2419, which is the school threat assessment teams, and the accompanying regulation 2419. The committee also reviewed policies from the previous first reading, which are recommended for a second reading and approval at tonight's meeting. Those are Policy 1121, which is benefits covering non-affiliated central office administrative employees, Category C, P1122, benefits covering non-affiliated administrative employees, Category A, P1124, benefits covering non-affiliated part-time school security officers and pool operator, Category D, P1125, benefits covering non-affiliated community education staff, which is Category E, P1126, benefits covering foreman, Category F, P1127, benefits covering non-affiliated administrative employees, which is Category G, and Policy P4420, which is benefits covering non-affiliated support staff, Category B. Also, Policy and Regulation 5600, which is Student Discipline and Code of Conduct. We next reviewed the district's nursing plan for the nursing services plan for the 2023-2024 school year. This supports student health care needs, emergency management, and other health-related services. The committee discussed scores for the 2023 New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, which we commonly call QSAC. We reviewed that. The WAP has been designated as a high-performing school district and was certified by the State Board of Education as providing a thorough and efficient system of education, thereby being placed on a continuum in the 5 New Jersey QSAC areas, including instruction and program, fiscal management, governance, operation, and personnel. We were also updated on the high school fall sports season, which is now underway with nearly 1,000 students participating. United football kicked off the season last week on October 25th, and soccer, tennis, volleyball, and field hockey competitions begin the week of September 3rd. The committee discussed ongoing conversations with local school districts regarding the possibility of starting a cricket program. And this Friday, September 1st at 7, is the WWP United home game at North at 7 p.m., so please consider coming out to support our student athletes. As for the referendum, we heard about the punch list items are underway at High School North, Culinary Arts Room, and Media Center. Phase 2 construction at the Wyckoff School continues with the Media Center main office, nurses suite, and front entrance. A new driveway has been poured off Plainsboro Road. Punchless items continue at the Millstone River and Dutch Neck School Media Centers, and construction of a sensory playground at Town Center has begun. The School Start Time Exploration Committee met on Monday, August 21st, to discuss transportation and the potential impact of shifting bell schedules on the district budget. The next School Start Time Exploration Committee will focus on athletics and extracurricular activities and the possible effects of alternative school start times. The committee reviewed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, for the district's participation in the 2023-2024 Send Hunger Packing program and recommends this MOU for board approval. I also wanted to just give a plug for the Send Hunger Packing, and the Gratitude Abundance Group will be running the 6th annual Gratitude Walk on Sunday, September 10th at 8 a.m. at the West Windsor Community Park. So please consider participating in this fundraiser to support the children and families in our community. The committee reviewed updated job descriptions for the Supervisor of Technology, Training, and Media Resources, Supervisor of K-12 Social Studies, Supervisor of K-12 Science, Supervisor of K-5 Mathematics, Supervisor of 6-12 Mathematics, Supervisor of K-5 Language Arts, Supervisor of 6-12 Language Arts, Supervisor of Curriculum Instruction, Supervisor of World Languages and Dual Language Immersion, K-12, Supervisor of Instructional Technology, Director of Data Assessment and Accountability. The committee recommends the job descriptions for approval at tonight's meeting. The committee will next meet on Tuesday, September 12th. Thanks.
Thank you, Dana. Any questions from board members? Okay. Now turn to Curriculum Committee. Loy?
Thank you, Rachel. The Curriculum Committee met on August 15th. We began with a discussion on the current processes and policies around AP testing with Dr. Gould. The team reviewed changes the College Board has made to the registration process timeline, reflected on registration data, and discussed testing logistics. Next, Dr. Gould shared the extensive opportunities for professional development, I should mention in her presentation today, that was afforded to district staff. Learning experiences included were aligned to district strategic goals, curricula, and the initiatives such as full-day kindergarten, multi-level classes, and dual immersion. Then Dr. Gould described to the committee the successful professional learning experienced by district administration during the annual administrative retreat, which we saw some pictures tonight. Sessions are co-facilitated by district administrators and are aligned to the district's goals. This year's theme, From Belonging to Connection, demonstrates the district's commitment to ensuring that all stakeholders feel a sense of connection to our school community. There are several items to be voted on tonight's agenda. First, the committee recommends approval of a little over 100, which Dr. Gould had on her presentation, new and or revised curricula. You can also see the list of new and revised curricula in tonight's agenda, just to kind of give you an idea of the breadth and of the work that was undertaken by district staff over the summer. So thank you for all your hard work. Next, the committee recommends acceptance of a grant from the National Education Association Foundation in the amount of $3,400 to be used to fund High School North Diversity, Ethnicity, and Inclusion Day during the 2023-24 school year. As part of the grant agreement, the district agrees to provide district-funded support in the amount of $350 for speaker fees and incidentals. The final report must be submitted by July of 2024. Next, we move on to field trips. The committee recommends approval of the following overnight field trips. First, for High School South, the swim team to Coral Springs, Florida from December 26th to the 31st of this year. The cost of the trip is approximately $1,350 per student. Also for High School South, a senior class trip to Disney World from March 9th to the 13th of next year. The cost of the trip is approximately $1,560 per student. For High School North, there's a little typo here, but for High School North, also a senior class trip to Disney from March 1st to the 5th of next year, and the cost of the trip is approximately $1,560 per student as well. Next, community middle school field trips. First one is outdoor education to Camp Canadensis in Pennsylvania from June 7th through the 9th of next year, and the cost of the trip is approximately $250 per student. Also for community middle school, the Science Olympiad group to Michigan State University from the 22nd of May through the 26th of next year, and the cost of that trip is approximately $1,200 per student. For Grover's overnight field trips, we have outdoor education to Pine Forest Camp in Greeley, Pennsylvania from June 3rd through the 7th. The cost of that trip is approximately $325 per student. Next, we move on to professional development. The committee recommends approval of the following professional development. First, entering into a contract with Flemington Raritan Regional School District to provide 2023-2024 reading recovery professional development and technical support for 10 reading recovery teachers at a cost of $9,500 plus mileage. And the second professional development is for one AP environmental science teacher to attend APSI at PWISTA Purchase College virtually from the 14th through the 17th of August at a cost of $900. Next, the committee recommends approval to acknowledge the completed New Jersey Department of Education's CUSAC, which Dana had mentioned, district performance review process, and the district's CUSAC performance continuum placement determination as a high-performing school district pursuant to NJAC 6A:30-41D. The curriculum committee, lastly, to be voted on tonight, the curriculum committee recommends approval of Northwestern Evaluation Association to provide 2 half-day MAP workshops during the 2024 school year to district staff at a cost not to exceed $3,960, including travel for a professional development consultant. The committee will next meet on Tuesday, September 12th. Thank you.
Thank you, Loy. Are there any questions from board members? Oh, yes, Liz?
With regard to the 2 outdoor education programs at Grover and Community Middle School, I just wanted to appreciate the support of the administration to encourage families who may have certain concerns with regard to the cost and the processes that are in place to support children's participation.
Thanks, Liz. Any other questions or comments from board members? All right, we'll now turn to Finance Committee. Louisa?
Thank you. The Finance Committee met on August 23rd. The committee reviewed the monthly financial reports, and the administration affirmed that there is enough money to complete the year. The committee reviewed and recommends for approval agenda items for tonight's meeting. There is a motion to authorize the business administrator to use competitive contracting to procure our teachers' workshop professional development, and a motion to award a negotiated agreement for food service equipment. There are 2 motions to approve change orders to reduce the amount of construction contracts by their unused allowance amount. There are several motions to approve the purchase of items either using state contract or cooperative purchasing services. These purchases include 2 new PA systems and shelving for our media center renovations. There is a motion to dispose of obsolete equipment. There are various transportation motions on the agenda, including rejecting some bids, approving some quotes and bids, and approving some jointures. Also included are the approval of some staff and board travel. Staff reported that the district has transitioned into the 23-24 fiscal year. The auditors are on site working on the audit of the 22-23 year. Staff updated the committee on construction projects in the district. For High School North, the sanitary main contractor has completed their work, and they have seeded all the areas where they disturbed the ground. The architect is finalizing permit drawings for some internal office alterations. A tennis court scope review meeting will be scheduled after the start of the school year. The culinary arts room contractor is working on punch list items and scheduling their final cleaning. The room passed final inspections, and the district may move in. Trainings for district staff for the new kitchen equipment have been scheduled for the ovens, ranges, and dishwasher. A water heater will be added at the 3-compartment sink in the dishwasher room. The contractor is also working on punch list items in the media center, and the district has started to utilize the space. New Roads commissioning agent is reviewing the front-end graphics with the HVAC controls vendor. At High School South, the installation of the new walk-in freezer is nearly complete. The new dance floor is scheduled to be installed the week of August 28th. At Town Center, the playground installation contractor is demolishing the existing asphalt surface. In the media center, installation of the new masonry walls is continuing. The in-wall electrical rough-in has been installed. Above ceiling mechanical work is also underway, and a carpet tile color selection meeting is scheduled. At Wyckoff, for the Phase 1 project, a breaker was installed on the generator. Land surveyors were on site last week but need to come back for more information. The HVAC balancing report was submitted and further adjustments to the system are needed. There was a power shutdown for 2 to 3 hours on August 18th to replace a conduit fitting on an electrical panel. For Phase 2 at Wyckoff, the media center carpet and shelving have been installed. The driveway concrete apron at Plainsboro Road has been poured. All bollards have been installed and paving has been completed. Aluminum window framing is complete and glazing will be installed this week. The hardy siding is complete and tiling in the toilet room should be completed shortly. The new rooftop units are delayed and anticipated to be shipped in October. All ductwork and piping has been completed and insulated. To address moisture issues at the gym, the design of a perimeter drain system, waterproofing membrane, and a new stormwater inlet structure have begun, with work targeted to start in the fall. 9 classrooms have been turned over to the district for cleaning. 3 more classrooms will be turned over by the end of the week. For the Dutch Neck and Millstone River Media Centers, the security blinds and tamper-proof receptacles for the circulation desks have been installed. The receptacle work is the last punch list item and code inspection item at Millstone. For the Hawktown Center and Village Media Centers, shop drawings and permit applications are being assembled. A color selection meeting was held, and a follow-up color selection meeting will be scheduled once submittals have been received. For other summer projects, at Hawk, the contractor for the new kitchen ovens is obtaining permits for the electrical work. The drainage basin reconstruction at North, GMS, and Hawk is complete. The driveway repair at North and sidewalk concrete repair throughout the district are complete. Staff reported that they shared the concept of a second energy savings improvement plan with the Administration and Facility Committee, including additional solar arrays over parking lots. Their response was similar to the Finance Committee's with respect to the location of these new arrays. The next step would be enter into an addendum to the original contract that would commit the district and Snyder to move forward together. This would include a no turnback clause, which essentially would say that the district would be committed to make some form of payment for services completed after a certain amount of work was completed by Snyder if the district decides not to proceed. And this is standard contractual language for these plans. Staff briefed the committee on the transportation quotes and jointures on the agenda for approval. The routes being quoted will be put out to bid within 90 days. The original bid for these routes had to be rejected because one company did not receive an addendum, so the routes were quoted to ensure transportation for the beginning of school. Staff updated the committee on various food service items. Sodexo, our food service contractor, is preparing for the opening of the new school year. Most of the new food service equipment will be in place for the start of school. This includes a new oven that is being installed at Hawk and a new freezer box at High School South. All of the elementary schools are ready for breakfast in the classroom. All serving locations now have new point-of-sale systems, which should improve the flow in the cafeterias. Also, Sodexo recently hired 3 new staff members. The administration provided the committee with an update on the progress of the Late Start Committee. They were briefed on the transportation operation and how late start options affect the bus system, which has significant financial impacts. The committee had many questions about various options, including ways to mitigate costs by moving start times less. The committee will further discuss bell schedules at their next meeting. The district's transportation costs have increased by over $7 million since the 2021 school year due to inflationary factors. This is with our current tiered route system. Separating these tiers to provide later start times would substantially increase our costs further. Dr. Adehold reported that the schools are ready for full-day kindergarten. Staff participated in professional development over the summer, including how creative play can be built into the full-day schedule. The committee had asked for an update on district student enrollment, and Dr. Adehold reported that it is too early to have a sense of where we are going to end up. The committee will next meet on Tuesday, September 12th.
Thank you, Louisa. Are there any questions from board members? Okay, so we'll turn now to the voting portion of the meeting, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Toscano for just an amendment to the agenda.
Thank you, Madam President. In addition to the items that are listed on the agenda, there is an additional item in administration that will be added. It will be Resolution A20, which will be resolved by the board to deny the appeal in connection with student ID 400-285 as discussed in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Toscano. All right, can I then have a motion for administration items 1 through 20? Dana and Robin, any questions or comments? All right, Chris?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Cheniera.
Yes to all, but abstaining from A20.
Okay, okay. Next is, excuse me, next is Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. Maliga.
Yes to all, except no to A20.
Okay. Okay, and the next is Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall,
Yes.
Ms. McEwen,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes. All right, we now go to curriculum items. Can I have a motion for curriculum items 1 through 5? Loy and Pooja, any questions or comments? Chris?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Ho.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. Maliga,
Yes.
Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall,
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera,
Yes.
Ms. McEwen,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes. All right, can I have a motion for finance items 1 through 39? Louisa and Shweta, any questions or comments? Chris?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Krug.
Yes to all, except for number 39, I abstain as to myself.
Okay, next we have Ms. Maliga.
Yes to all, and, but 39, I abstain to myself.
Yes. Next we have Ms. Shetty.
Yes to all, but for 39, I abstain.
Okay, Ms. Zovich.
Yes to all, but abstain as to myself for 39A, please.
Yep. Okay, next is Ms. Bonsall.
Yes to all, except I abstain for number 39 to myself.
Yep, and next we have Ms. Cheniera.
Yes to all, but abstaining on 39 as to myself.
Okay, we have Ms. Ho.
Yes to all, but I abstain for myself on number 39.
Okay, next we have Ms. McEwen.
Yes to all, but for 39, I abstain as to myself.
Yep, and Ms. Juliana.
Yes to all, for 39, abstain as to myself. All right. That takes us now to personnel items, 1 through 4, plus the green addendum. Can I have a motion for those items? Liz and Graylin, any questions or comments? All right, Chris?
Okay, we'll start with Ms. Maliga.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Shetty,
Yes.
Ms. Zovich,
Yes.
Ms. Bonsall,
Yes.
Ms. Cheniera,
Yes.
Ms. Ho, Ms. Krug,
Yes.
Ms. McEwen,
Yes.
Ms. Juliana.
Yes. So I'd also like to acknowledge some retirements. We have Eva Barbarash, who is speech language specialist at Maurice Hawk, retiring after 44 years in the district. Tina Hamilton, a special education teacher at High School South, retiring after 30 years in the district. And Kathy Lewandowski, special education teacher at High School North, retiring after 29 years in the district. So just want to thank all of you for your years of service and dedication to the district, and good luck to all of you on your retirement. Thank you. All right, can I now have a motion for approval of the minutes from July 25th for both our meeting and closed session? Dana and Louisa, any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Okay. All right, any board liaison reports? Any new business? Oh, yes.
I would just mention for Loy and myself that we look forward to working with the different ETSA groups at all the different schools and partnering and building up.
Thanks, Liz. Any others? All right, any new business? All right, that takes us to the second opportunity for public comments. The board invites comments from members of our community who are present. Each participant is asked to give his or her name and address prior to making a statement, which will be limited to 3 minutes in accordance with Board Policy 0167. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. This public comment period shall be limited to 15 minutes. Are there any public comments?
As you know, I'm here because I'm running for sheriff, and I appreciate all the volunteer work that all of you are doing. I know it's not an easy job, and you're constantly having to weigh out whether you should follow the Constitution and implement potentially government overreach, or who do you turn to? You have basically three choices. You can resign, you can agree to do it, or you can take the money and not do it, because a lot of times the things they're asking you to do, they tie to money to make sure you'll do it. So I'm here to tell you that as a sheriff, I'm going to have, or I actually have already, a constitutional crisis hotline on my website. So if you feel your constitutional rights are being violated, I'd like you to go there, log your complaint. I will connect you with other people in the community that are concerned about the same issue, so that if the government or Twitter or anybody else is censoring you, I'll make sure I put you together with like-minded people so that you can speak your mind, and I'll be there to protect you if you choose to gather and address your grievances against a government that's not doing what you want them to do. That's a big part of the sheriff's role, is to protect you from government overreach. And so keep that in mind. In addition to that, there will be training. It's state-mandated training for people who want to be deputized. So in a case where we need civilians on the ground, there will be training available. So, I mean, the best example I can probably give is there's an emergency in the school and there's some kind of an attack or something like that. There can be deputized citizens who would be under the direction of local law enforcement, who would be able to act and follow the lead of the police in the area. So, not armed, just assistance. It doesn't mean that they won't have their own firearms. They might. They're not bringing them to the party. If that makes any sense. All right. I guess the last thing I want to say is, if you're looking for me on any social media, it's Drew for Mercer. And early voting starts on September 23rd. You're going to start seeing mail-in ballots. Please vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close the second opportunity for public comments. So we will now need to recess into closed executive session, so I will read this statement. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act authorizes boards of education to meet in executive session under certain circumstances, whereas the Open Public Meetings Act requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting to go into private session, now therefore be it resolved by the West Windsor-Plainsboro Regional School District Board of Education that it is necessary to meet in executive session to discuss certain items involving the superintendent evaluation recap. Be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board, which need not remain confidential, will be made public as soon as feasible. The minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Be it further resolved that the board will not return to open session to conduct business at the conclusion of the executive session. So can I have a motion to adjourn to closed session? Liz and Robin, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.